This is the all-new Chase Sapphire Reserve, and this is the all-new Amex Platinum. And it's become clear to me that Amex knows exactly what they're doing, while Chase is struggling to play catch-up. In fact, if you ask me, I think Chase is sweating bullets. And this video will be my justification as to why I believe that is. Let's get into it. We're going to treat today's mini-series as like a little health checkup for Chase. Therefore, we're going to call it, Hey Chase, you okay? Let's begin with the welcome offer. When the Sapphire Reserve made its re-debut at its relaunch in June 2025, the welcome offer was as follows. You could earn 100,000 points plus a $500 Chase travel credit after spending $5,000 in the first 3 months. But then something very curious happened just a few months later. In August 2025, the offer actually changed to this. The $500 credit went away, but the points went up, now allowing you to earn 125,000 points after spending a little bit more, $6,000 in your first 3 months. And that is the current offer as I record this video right now in October 2025. They're even advertising it as their best points offer, whereas the first and previous bonus was their best offer ever. The extra 25,000 points though, as long as your account remains active and in good standing, those points don't expire. And they also could be valued at $500 or so based on how you redeem them, potentially even more if you use transfer partners. So me personally, I would find more value in the greater points but no credit versus lower points plus limited time credit. And may I just say that it is very odd for a new card to launch or an old card being refreshed to launch with a new offer, and to have that new offer actually get better than the original launch offer. Almost all the time we see a new launch, here's a huge offer, and then when it expires for its limited time run, it then goes down to a new base rate. But Chase did the opposite here. And interestingly, this was all done in the month prior to Amex revamping or relaunching their Platinum Card. And for further comparison, let's bring in the original launch for the Sapphire Reserve back in 2016. That was to earn 100,000 points after spending $4,000 in your first 3 months. And this was also during the time when all those Chase points had a flat guaranteed minimum value of 1.5 cents per point. So now seeing all three of these side by side, it's become kind of clear that not a whole lot more value has been added in almost a decade for the welcome offers. In some degree of fairness though, you may remember this article when it first came out by the New York Times titled An Oral History of the World's First Viral Credit Card. In it, the author mentioned that the original launch of the Sapphire Reserve, the card was so popular that Chase temporarily ran out of the metal version to send to people. The card truly went viral. And then a little bit later, the Wall Street Journal came out with this article titled Sapphire Reserve Cards Aren't Very Rewarding for JP Morgan. To quote, some at JP Morgan are raising concerns that Sapphire Reserve won't make money for the bank, due in part to high demand and the card's generous rewards. Meanwhile, the lender is pushing for about $200 million in fresh cost cuts in the unit that oversees the card. So yes, we can all appreciate how much trouble Chase got themselves into financially about probably never being able to fully recoup the cost of the Sapphire Reserve when it first came out, losing potentially hundreds of millions of dollars. Therefore, they don't want to repeat that same sort of nightmare again. But when one of your biggest competitors, American Express, is now offering as high as 100,000 points on their mid-tier gold card, or as high as 175,000 points on their top-tier platinum card, I've just got to say, 100K plus a little credit that doesn't last more than a year, or 125K points just doesn't look as good or cause as much excitement compared to what Amex typically shows people. Reason number 2 why I think Chase is sweating bullets. They now have new application rules plus their first ever pop-up jail. You may very well be familiar with the Chase 524 rule and even their 48-month rule, which used to say you can only get a Sapphire branded bonus once every 48 months or 4 years. But those hard set individual rules have been kind of blurred more recently. Now when applying for a Sapphire Preferred or Reserve, you may see a pop-up window that says something like this. A quick update about your application. It looks like you're not eligible for a bonus on a Chase Sapphire Reserve credit card. This can happen if you've already held or received a bonus for this credit card. Current holders of personal Chase Sapphire cards are also ineligible. We haven't done a credit check yet, so there will be no impact to your score if you don't continue. It then prompts you for how you want to proceed, either continuing to get the card without a bonus or to cancel the application altogether, making the application rules a lot less firm and easy to identify. There could definitely be some winners in this. Maybe you're able to get a new Sapphire card bonus again before 48 months, but now Chase could extend it even beyond that if they choose to do so. Clearly, they're being much pickier in terms of who they want to become their new cardholders versus those who they don't. And that brings us to reason number 3, application chaos. For some reason, Chase has had a pretty difficult time launching this new pop-up jail type of thing to actually bar people from getting their cards and doing it the right way. Doctor of Credit wrote this article called Chase Approving Accounts Despite Users Declining Due to Pop-Up. Issue to be resolved. And again, to be fair, the issue does seem to be cleared up now, but for a while, this is what was going on. For people who applied for a Sapphire product, got the pop-up offer saying they're not eligible for a welcome offer, and then saying, I decline, exit the application, don't open the account, Chase would actually still open the account anyway. For the people who were affected by this, Chase did ultimately resolve this by saying, hey, if you want to still keep the card open, we will actually give you the welcome offer. But for the weeks where this was going on, it would have been totally awful to see, hey, you can't get a bonus. No, don't open it. And then they open it anyway. What amazing confusion that would lead to. And on top of all that, new Chase Sapphire Reserve applicants were, for a while, seeing info for the old sign-up bonus, the old benefits, and the old annual fee. This seemed to only be affecting people who applied for the new version of the Sapphire Reserve via a referral link. But referral versus affiliate versus direct versus some other channel, if the new card has standard benefits across the board and new fees and all that, then all the same messages should be shown across all links regardless. It was definitely a messy few weeks for Chase trying to get the new Sapphire Reserve card on the market. Now, while Chase seems confused about what the Sapphire Reserve needs to offer long-term to remain competitive, confusion is the last thing that you want when starting a business of your own. And that's where today's sponsor, GoDaddy Aero, can make a huge difference if you want to go into business for yourself. GoDaddy Aero is an all-in-one AI-powered solution that helps entrepreneurs and small business owners quickly establish and grow their online presence. With just a few prompts, GoDaddy Aero uses AI to rapidly generate a professional website, a custom logo, and even content for your marketing campaigns. From there, everything still remains fully customizable with no coding required, and an AI assistant at your disposal should you ever need some help or inspiration. As an example, here's the site that GoDaddy Aero created for thebitebakery.com. If we scroll down a little bit, you'll notice that every text field can be modified with different styles, colors, and sizes. And whenever you see the Get Copy Suggestions button appear, that's the AI assistant ready to work on your behalf. Go ahead and change the cover media to a different image or video. Alter the background color. Add a promotional banner, or take advantage of any of these simple tools to add an online storefront, allow customers to book appointments, and add a chatbot for customer support, plus more. And in case you didn't notice, you can get to virtually anywhere you need to go with just a click or two. Once you've got everything how you like it, you can publish your site the same day and make further changes whenever you like. To me, this is a prime example of AI done right. It removes all the technicalities, gets you off to a great start, and then still leaves full creative control in your hands while keeping things simple. So if you've been sitting on a business idea and have been dreaming of turning it into something real, give GoDaddy Aero a try by scanning the QR code on the screen or using the link down below in the description. The world is waiting to see what you'll create. Now back to the rest of the video. And the messiness continues with reason number 4, priority pass chaos. And this one affected me personally. A number of you may have seen this YouTube short called This Priority Pass is Crazy, Chase Sapphire Reserve in parentheses. If you haven't seen it, I recommend going to watch it after this video. But apparently some of the chaos mentioned in that video could have been kind of mitigated or done away with if Chase did priority pass right from the get-go for everybody. Since I was not eligible to get the Sapphire Reserve as a new applicant with a new bonus, I just got mine via a product change from one of my Freedom cards. And so once I got it, all the welcome materials and everything, but then several weeks after I got my card and all the welcome materials, I received this letter. Dear Jeffrey Reese, we've identified a system issue that led to you not receiving a 4-digit PIN when we sent your Priority Pass membership card. Gotta love it. This PIN and your membership number are required to create a profile on PriorityPass.com or when using the Priority Pass app. Please visit PriorityPass.com and use the enclosed PIN to activate and manage your account. And you can see there, my PIN number, which I've covered up, was mentioned there in the upper right-hand corner. Although I did find a workaround to make my digital Priority Pass membership card work through the Chase app, which also was in and of itself totally new from what they've done in the past. I did go through several rounds of trying to activate on the Priority Pass site, which you used to do in years prior, with tons of error messages one after the other. But now that I have my actual PIN that I needed from day one via snail mail, I guess things are a little bit better. Although that should have been sent electronically as a direct message or whatever in my Chase account as a PDF, rather than waiting 7 to 10 to whatever to actually get a physical piece of paper. Reason number 5, nasty benefit terms. Here's a screenshot that I took from Chase's website about the Sapphire Reserve card with the offer that is available as I film this, the $125K offer. And you'll see a little link there, offer details. Well, if you click that, you get tons of fine print that goes on forever, showing you the terms for all of your benefits and the offer itself. But look what it says right here for the $300 annual travel credit. I highlighted it here for you in blue toward the bottom. We may reverse statement credits if an eligible purchase is returned, canceled, modified, or if you close your account within 90 days of receiving a statement credit. I don't know about you all, but that is new to my eyes, and I don't think any of the older versions of the Sapphire Reserve had that. The first part, though, is totally fair. If you buy something and then return it or exchange it or modify your purchase, then sure, Chase is in their right to take back their statement credit. It would have made sense for them to give you kind of like free money if you bought a flight, canceled it, and the trip never even happened. But now what Chase is saying is if you made a travel purchase that was eligible for the $300 credit, and you received all or part of that credit, but then decided to close your Sapphire Reserve card, any credits you received in the past 90 days could be reversed. That is not cool. What if you've had your card open for a full year, or 2 years, or 3 years, or longer, and you just happen to get to a point where, I don't really like the Sapphire Reserve anymore, I want to close it out and go get something different. You've been a good customer, you have a track record, you've abided by all the terms and conditions, but you may now have your credit reversed if you decide to close your account. And this goes well beyond just the $300 travel credit. The same language is also found here for the $500 credit for stays with the Edit hotels. And again for the $300 StubHub credit, and it also applies to the $500 Southwest Airlines Chase travel credit. That's the one that you achieve after spending $75,000 on your card. So you're definitely a great #1 Chase customer for them. And it even applies for the $250 credit for the shops at Chase. Again, another benefit you get if you spend $75,000 on your card. I'm not aware of this sort of 90-day language for any credits on the Amex Platinum or the new City Strata Elite or the Capital One Venture X. So this is kind of a Chase thing. Hopefully other issuers will not follow in their footsteps, but it is pretty restrictive when you actually think about it. No doubt it's a cost-cutting mechanism, but definitely not consumer-friendly, especially for people who want to get the card for at least a full year and try everything out to see if it's worth it for them or not. And finally, reason number 6 why I think Chase is sweating bullets is that they're changing benefits on the Sapphire Reserve already. Up first, a major change, and this one deals directly with the $500 The Edit credit. At card relaunch, which was June 2025, the Edit credit was broken down as follows. You got your first $250 that was available from January 1st through the end of June, and then you could receive another one from July 1st through the end of the year in December. And these credits were valid on prepaid bookings of 2 nights or more via the Edit collection. But then something happened post-relaunch. The card had been around for a little bit here, and Chase made an announcement that starting in January 2026, this credit would become much more flexible. And mind you all, this was announced one day before the relaunch of the Amex Platinum Card. Beginning next year, January 2026, you'll still get 2 $250 credits, so $500 total, no change there, but now they're going to be available at any time of the year instead of being divided every 6 months. Meaning now, yes, you can actually use them both on a single trip. Make one reservation, get your credit, and then book a separate reservation for another night, for example, and get your second credit. And they're all still valid on the same prepaid bookings of 2 nights or more via the Edit collection. Frankly, this is great and a very consumer-friendly move here, but because it happened just before Amex revamped their main flagship travel card, shows you that Chase is kind of, I guess, pre-reacting what Amex is going to do. If a new version of the Amex Platinum were not about to come out anytime soon, I'm very sure that Chase probably would not have made this move. Then, as part 2 of this announcement, still one day before the refreshed Amex Platinum came out, Chase added a new benefit that's valid for 1 year, just 2026. It's a $250 Select Chase Travel Hotels credit. Here's how it works. You can earn up to $250 in statement credits. This will be valid from January 1st through December 31st, 2026, and it will be valid on prepaid stays of 2 or more nights at eligible brands booked via Chase Travel. And here are those eligible brands: IHG, Montage, Omni, Pan Pacific, and Virgin Hotels. Again, a very nice consumer move, but it kind of feels like a Hail Mary attempt here at lobbing in a couple extra benefits right before Amex is about to knock their relaunch totally out of the park. That's not to say the Amex card is for everybody, but for the people that they're targeting for their product, it definitely offers way more value than it ever has before. And it seems like Chase was aware that was going to happen, so they're trying to make their Sapphire Reserve look even more attractive too. So bringing all this info for a smooth landing, hopefully for you all, just seeing all these changes, kind of a low ball-ish offer for their flagship card, tons of application chaos, the priority pass mishap, really unfavorable 90-day cancellation terms with pretty much all their major new credits, and then throwing some more new benefits in there right as Amex is doing their thing over here. To me, it just kind of smells like desperation. In other words, if I were Chase, I would be saying like, we thought we did a great job here. It's not necessarily the exact right fit for our customer base. Amex may get some more market share based on what they've just done, so let's make some last minute changes right now to hopefully win back some stuff. Stuff meaning, again, market share, share of wallet overall, consumer excitement, and so on and so forth. All in all, I'm not saying the Sapphire Reserve is a bad product. In fact, I think it's actually pretty darn great for the right people. And I'm also not saying that the Amex Platinum is way better than the Sapphire Reserve. It's just different. With all that said, I'd love to know what you all think down below in the comments. Do you think Chase is trying to do a direct strike against Amex, or are they just trying to make their card more attractive to the customers they're trying to target, or perhaps both? All I can say is that as I sign off here, I found it strange that so much change happened within the first 3 months of a brand new card relaunch. It made me quite suspicious. Anyway, share your comments down below. I look forward to reading them. I'll see you all in the next video. But before you leave, do check out the links that I have down below in the description area if you want to earn some extra cashback / Amex points through Rakuten. As I film this, they have an incredible offer going on right now that's never been done before. It could actually lead to you earning an extra $50 or 5,000 Amex points if you change your account settings. Also, if you want me to keep you up to date about great credit card offers as they become available and before they expire, sign up for my free credit card offer alerts. And finally, you'll see another link down there to try GoDaddy Aero to establish and grow your online presence and bring your business ideas to life. See y'all next time.